Hi. Welcome. I don't know if you can hear me. I really hope that you can. Welcome to Fast Food Thursday. This is, you know, the thing that happens now only once a month because that's the world we are living in now. Not once a week. And this is a special episode. Yellow YouTube. Oh, hello YouTube. Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ, man. Yeah. Oh shit, that was not audio that you should have been able to hear, but of course you did. Okay. Yeah, hi. This is the special reward for $20 plus patrons. This is a special room on the Discord server where only patrons can post. None of the actual $20 patrons have shown up yet, even though I did send them an email earlier today, or like a Patreon message earlier today. I do hope that was delivered, because sometimes it doesn't get delivered. Or at least that used to be the case back when Drunken Peasants was doing it. I think they fixed it. I mean, come on. This is not gonna be that much of a problem. But yeah, if you're one of my three $20 patrons, yes, of course you can also do that. But I won't check any of the other channels, so I'll just be in this exclusive channel right here, and if you abuse this shit, I will have you cunted, so please don't. But I appreciate that you tested this for me, because it is a bit of an oversight. I don't know if I can even fix it. So today was a bit of a strange day, because out of nowhere, I lost 15 subscribers. That just happened, kind of. And I have, in my entire YouTube career, never lost 15 subscribers in a single day. I mean, I have lost 15 subscribers in a single day. That's actually pretty average to lose 15 subscribers in a single day. Usually, I just get more subscribers than that extra, so it's a net plus. Today, it just 15 of them just, poof, disappeared. They were just gone. And that was odd, because that's not usually something that should in any way, shape, or form happen. Now, I couldn't actually see what was... Now, my first idea was that it's probably because of the gun video, right? But... actually, the subscribers I lost over that video were just average. I mean, every time you upload a video to YouTube, you lose a couple subscribers. And that just happens. But this was just average, you know, the usual amount of lost subscribers. Today I didn't get almost any views either. I got very few views. You know what? Actually, I think I'm gonna set up the webcam. I think guys might like the webcam. I'm gonna make it so it covers like part of the Discord server. Give me a moment. I'm gonna get it. Let's pull this up. No, make this visible. Oh no, I have to put it here, of course. Yeah, and then close-a-roni. Yeah, this is okay. This is all right. So, yeah, basically that's what happened. This is highly unusual. So this has nothing to do with the gun video, because the gun video, it's just average amount of subscribers. Maybe like one or two more, but like, who gives a shit? Like, usually I lose this many subscribers in a day, but what happens is that I gain more. And I was not able to yet confirm, because I have a second theory that today is just one of those days where YouTube purges a huge amount of, like, old accounts that they consider inactive or something. Hey, Cody, man, you're welcome to come in here. I sent you a message on Patreon. Like, this is your Patreon reward, my dude. Come on in. Yeah, so that was my secondary theory, that maybe this is just one of those days where YouTube does this, because I got almost no views today. So it's not a situation where, oh, my subscribers are seeing this video and they're not liking it, so they're unsubscribing, because nobody was actually watching the video. So that's not, you know, unless like out of the, I don't know, like 200 people that watched a video today, like a lot of, an absolutely incredibly disproportionate amount than usual was were the ones that said, I don't like this, because like the rest of the, oh, you're trying to get home from work. Well, I am going to be on for 2 hours, so yeah. It's very bad if you can't come on to these, if you have to work. That's not very... I might have to, depending on how things go, I might have to move these back, but this is like a good time slot for me, because it's late here, but it's not too early in the States. So yeah, this is basically what I'm thinking now, that possibly it's this, but I can't actually see that yet and confirm it, because the analytics always take like 2 days to be generated, and so then I will be able to see when what happened, how, and why. Like why these channels all went away, where they unsubscribed from. That's all. Unfortunately, also I finally have a chance to get the post office for you. But oh, my dudes, Cody, there's gonna be something new on the bookshelf in like a month, because my dudes, Cody has created something amazing. Yeah. Yeah, basically that's what happened. So I don't think that this has anything to do with the content. I don't know. It's probably just YouTube being YouTube. Oh, you know, because I think something like this happened earlier, when I was a lot smaller and I thought the world was going under, but I checked in the analytics and it saw that it's just a lot of closed accounts. Thing is, I just can't see it yet. So I'm thinking that that's sort of what happened, and that's sort of what this is going to be like. It is, of course, unfortunate that I am sort of deprioritized by the algorithm, but that's the world that I live in now. So I actually kind of have stopped. I haven't stopped. But I feel myself stopping caring about all that too much. I feel like I'm in a relatively stable position. I have been told today that there was a certain no, dude, I have seen the thing. It's pretty good, Cody. What was I saying? That there was a kill switch that YouTube had tested out on Leafy's channel, with how they would basically open the carotid artery and the channel would bleed out subscribers. That's a very graphic way of describing that. Because it was, they tested it out there, and the thing is, right? My channel would be, if YouTube wanted to do this, which I don't think that they do actually. Yes, War Daddy, only Patreons can get into this chat channel. I mean, the other people, I read the chat. I am active in the YouTube chat, so you can communicate with me over the YouTube chat. That's no problem. But yeah, this is like the Patreons. This chat room is for patrons only. And yeah. And only my $20 plus patrons actually get to be in the studio booth with me. It's just that none of them have showed up yet. Yeah. What was I saying? What was I saying actually? Jesus, I was at a certain point. Yeah, I don't think that they actually see. This is, people always say that they're trying to destroy conservative channels and all that. I'm not a conservative channel, right? This is like, it should be clear at this point that I am not a conservative channel. I am almost as far to the left as you can be, well, not almost, not quite as far to the left as you can be. I'm a very far leftist that believes we should have a centrist government. That's what I believe. Because a centrist government allows me to be a centrist and the rightists to be rightists. And things just kind of work. All that being said, I don't think YouTube is trying to purge. I think YouTube is trying to purge the most extreme of the extreme people, the actual Nazis. No, the YouTube chat isn't turned off. What am I saying? Jesus Christ. You're breaking my train of thought. I think they're trying to get rid of the most extreme of the extreme sort of content, right? Like the actual Nazis and the actual ISIS people, which they're not very good at. And they had this, and they don't know yet how to teach their bots to do this on their own, right? They just kind of do shit, and it doesn't really work very well. So thank you, Ricardo, for your nice compliments. And considering me thick. So yeah, I think that they don't actually want to purge us. I think that they're just failing at teaching their algorithms to do this properly in a way that actually sort of makes any sense at all. And because they're not able to do it, there's a lot of suffering going on. A lot of livelihoods are being destroyed. There's a lot of problems with a lot of channels, and a lot of people aren't getting the exposure that maybe they would have before YouTube tried to implement these new systems with which they're trying to protect the platform from, like, content that might actually genuinely be sort of illegal type shit, like ISIS recruitment videos, right? And that's that's definitely a huge problem, but when people say that YouTube is like has this big conspiracy where they want to like destroy all the channels that they don't like, I am skeptical. I'm not saying that that's not what's happening, because it may well be what's happening, but so far the evidence has not been such that what could be attributed to malice could not also just have been attributed to incompetence, or just, I mean, I don't know if it's incompetence when you have the smartest people in the world dealing with an issue that just nobody has ever dealt before, and that no matter what they do, there will be massive consequences for a massive amount of people. That's sort of what happens. But let's get back to the chat. Sargon describes himself as a liberal, but he's all for civic nationalism. Maybe nationalism is neither left nor right, resists socialism and fascism. See, I always, people always say, oh, Sargon has given in to the right. And I always said, no, he hasn't. But, like, a few videos of his that I've been watching lately, he actually does seem to be identifying as right-wing now, because he says liberalism is now right-wing, and he's trying to get people away from the left and shit. And that's like a thing where I'm thinking, Sargon, that's not very smart. I mean, I see where you're coming from, but you're just wrong. But then again, Sargon is wrong on a lot of things. And that's cool, How do you rank on the Big Five? Jordan Peters is a fan of that system. I mean, this is like the big thing. But the thing about the Big Five is that it's basically, it is basically MBTI, but except it has an additional dimension, and people respect it because it's not mainstream. That's the big difference between MBTI and Big Five and, Ocean, which I think actually Big Five and the Ocean might be the same thing. But when it comes to MBTI, I am ENTP, which should not surprise many people. They're really just targeting the majority of channels handling news and politics, maybe intentionally, maybe not. Yeah, here's the thing that I've been, I don't know if you've watched the Quentin Reviews video on this, but Quentin, and I looked into this after he said this, is that YouTube is trying to select the algorithm away from watch minutes and toward evergreen content, right? Because before 2012, you had this thing where it was all about the clicks. And it didn't really matter what happened in the video. It was all about the clicks that the video got. More clicks meant more people watching it, right? And so if you had a video that was just basically like the thumbnail of boobs, and then just 10 minutes of nothing, That was a click. That was a positive thing in the algorithm, and so it would be promoted to new people who would then also click on it and fall for that clickbait. So they changed this by making watch minutes the new thing. ENTP, not INTP. Though I am very close to the introversion. I am not very extroverted. I sometimes like to describe myself as a high-functioning introvert. What am I saying? Yeah, exactly. So they started to select for watch minutes. Because now if you click on that very same video, and it's just 10 minutes and nothing, you're just gonna click away. Because, like, you know, and it's a lot of views, it's not very many watch minutes, the algorithm does not weigh views as highly, therefore the video does not get recommended as much, and you have a big clickbait problem reduced. However, this also means that sort of animators, for instance, who did like 2 to 3 minute content, because animation is a shit ton of work, couldn't actually do their content anymore, and so it was being selected against. And there have been a lot of animators who have become quite successful over the past year or so on YouTube. And the theory is that YouTube is somehow trying to train their algorithm to find evergreen content. Now, what does this mean, evergreen content? Basically, it's content that you can still watch in like 2 years' time, right? You go back to the channel, to the video, you look into here, and then you can still watch it. It's not news content. It's not content that relies on things being current. So that, of course, puts news content at a disadvantage. And it especially puts commentary content at a disadvantage. Because, obviously, commentary content is very based on watch minutes and current. And, of course, that is no longer a thing. Now, I do think that the commentary and news content will not be destroyed on the site, simply because the virality of it and the fact that people are talking about it is going to be a big boost anyway, because people will be looking for that kind of content. I do, however, believe, and this is something that I genuinely believe this, YouTube should have more than one algorithm, and they should have the sidebar where they recommend you videos. They should have different different systems that would recommend you different videos. So they should have one where it's just about watch minutes. They should have one where it's just about popular videos in general, and possibly a third algorithm that recommends you videos that they think you would be wanting to watch specifically, right? And they can have minor shades of color that differentiate this, so people have the option of following all three of these algorithms and can get content that they want to watch in the way that they want to watch it, right? I think that is a system that a lot of people would be a lot happier with. But yeah, this whole evergreen content thing is actually very good for my channel, because I don't really do commentary content. Like in most, like a lot of people that I know describe my channel as an essayist channel, which, I don't know, is that a bit pretentious? Yes, it is, but, you know, people describe me as a philosopher. That's also incredibly pretentious. But it's also not wrong, right? I mean, like, by definition, technically speaking, making pasta is also cooking. So, what I do is also, technically speaking, philosophy. Making ramen noodles is probably a better thing in like the English cultural sphere. Yeah. Basically that, because you could go back, you could watch most of the back catalog of my channel and still get enjoyment out of it, because I specifically do not talk about current events much. Like the Article 13 thing and shit, all of that, of course, I talk about current events in that context. And things are current because they are relevant to, like, the political climate of the past few years and the future political climate, but they are not this week news cycle type current. So basically, that's like kind of a hope that I have, that will actually in the long term help my channel. But then my channel has been doing not so well in the past 2 months. So This whole Myers-Briggs thing is bollocks, which I had to find out fits my NFP personality perfect. How does one publish a book in small countries or countries that don't speak English without starving? I have no idea. I did send you the Brandon Sanderson lectures, though. How do you, like... You're writing your book in English, right, Sandro? So that shouldn't be a problem. You could just go through the traditional process of publishing. You don't actually have to be in contact with your agents and the publisher. You don't have to go there. You can just, from where you live, you could just communicate with them from there. I mean, we do live in the 21st century. There are telephones and there's email and there's Skype. So, Jordan Peterson says liberals are high on openness and low on conscientiousness, while conservatives are the opposite. So what are those of us who are high on both openness and conscientiousness? I'm not an expert on this thing. I think that, I mean, you can still be a liberal or a conservative in that. So here, the thing is, okay, the differentiation that people take is liberal and conservative. But that's actually a bullshit differentiation, because even if you look at a system that's as simple as the political compass, right? You take, okay, let me try to illustrate this. So you have these two playing cards right here. Now just imagine this is the political compass. And you have this axis, which is basically, this is the conservatives, this is the right, and this is the left. This is the side that is conservative, right? But this down here, this is the liberal to authoritarian axis. So the dichotomy that you're describing is not the right and left dichotomy when you're saying liberal and progressive, and liberal and conservative. It is a dichotomy of conservative and liberal. This is a completely different thing. So this is why I think that whole way of describing things is flawed. It's conservative and progressive, and it's which is basically left and right. What left and right is, whatever is progressive at that point and whatever is conservative at that point. And liberal and authoritarian would be, of course, the other dimension. And both conservatives and progressives can be authoritarian or liberal in their way of, in their philosophy. So I feel like it's a pretty weak way of, it's a pretty one-dimensional way of describing it. But then how else would you describe a complex issue like this, isn't it? You say stuff that YouTube wouldn't agree with. This is why your growth isn't as big as it should be. Here's the thing, okay? I don't actually think that... I mean, of course, I don't think I'm on anyone's radar, you know? I don't think I'm big enough or relevant. All of my videos are monetized. I have not had any issues with monetization for several months. Even on a controversial video, like the guns video, which was clearly age-gated, because it would have gotten a lot more views if it hadn't been. But, you know, it's a topic where I sort of expected that would happen. It was monetized from the beginning, 100%, prime ads, primo ads, really good shit. So I don't think that, you know, that's not... I think that the algorithm doesn't really know what kind of content that I do is the problem. I tweeted this out lately that I was it said that the similar channels to my own, or the related channels, as it would be in English, are like Sargon of Akkad, The Thinkery, which is still Sargon of Akkad, Six Saxonhammer 666, PewDiePie, and The Quartering. Now, my content is nothing like the content that any of them do, right? I do talk about politics, but my format is vastly different. And I'm not as funny as PewDiePie. The guy is really funny. Like, he just hits exactly my humor. And I also don't talk about the same things that he talks about, right? So it's... And I've been told that this is determined by people who watch my content also watch the content on these channels, which that sort of makes sense to me. That would then happen, because I think there is a massive overlap between me and those channels. In terms of viewership, probably. So yeah, that's a good explanation for it. But certainly, it's not like the. I don't think the YouTube algorithm understands what I do, and that's why I am sort of not being promoted as much as I maybe would be, or I don't know. Really, it's nobody quite knows what that is. Was your day in the life meant to be the four corners of the compass? Fuck yes! Finally someone understands. I think someone else understood this earlier, but yes, that is precisely. You can slot these neatly into all four corners of the political compass. And if someone were to analyze a day in the life of Hugo Hendricks, they would find and actually chart the stories. I don't want to give too much away, but you would find a lot of stuff that is a lot of Easter eggs. You would find a lot of Easter eggs. The political tesseracts. One shouldn't need a license or permit to exercise a right. What? I mean, you do have a right to have a car because you have a right to earn property. Still need a license for that, right? I mean, there's a difference between. The problem isn't so much. I don't even know what you're referring to at this point, to be honest. So, and I'm 100% certain that the thing that I think you're referring to is an argument that I have at no point made. What is this? Huh. Apparently this was under my chair all this time. I've had this for over a year. Yeah, my chair does this. Oof. Sometimes it's not being funny, it's just engaging. Yeah, I'm not a comedy channel. I have jokes. I'm not trying to make money with comedy. I don't think I'm good enough in comedy for that. And it's not every channel has to be comedy. Did you ever see the original Red Dawn? I did not. We wouldn't use AR-15s to shoot down Predator drones, we'd use anti-material weapons or improvised guerrilla tech. The thing with Predator drones is that you don't see them. That's the thing with Predator drones, is that you don't see them. And they can bomb the shit out of you, and you know why there are people in the Middle East that are afraid of clear skies? It's because when it's cloudy out, they don't send the Predator drones. You cannot see a Predator drone until it is too late and it is already killing you. If the Taliban can't defeat Predator drones, they have round about the same weapons that you do, generally. Maybe they're a little lower quality, but they have much more experience in actual guerrilla warfare. And if the Taliban can't shoot down Predator drones, you can't either. Where's there? Well, actually, we don't need a license to meme because there's no longer a problem, is it? We're done with. No, we're not done with that shit. The European Parliament today rejected the copyright reform proposal, which included Article 11 and Article 13, actually by a really significant margin. Now they rejected it, and that doesn't mean that it's out of the world. It means that it's being sent back to the European Commission because the European Parliament said, no, this we will not accept. The European Commission will of course try to change it again, and then in September they want to try to push it through once more, but it will definitely have most of its teeth pulled, and if then it is still even closely to what it is today, it will once again be rejected. So that's pretty good. Today was a good day for internet freedom. Because it turns out that the elected arm of the EU is actually, good. I was also surprised that the Eurosceptics voted against this, because the Eurosceptics were the ones who tipped the vote in favor during the Legal Affairs Committee. That was very interesting. But okay, the only reason AR-15s are for sale in America is that they can be bought for what they want to revolt against the. Okay, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna make a video about this at some point. I'm gonna make a video about this. I don't give a shit about your AR-15s. Okay. I don't give a shit. If you want to have AR-15s, have AR-15s. Just don't think that your AR-15s or your other bullshit is going to be able to defeat the best domestic intelligence network in the world with the military that is so high-tech that the only military that is more high-tech than it is the Israeli military. And that's a very small military. You can... I don't think you should even ban, like, specific gun models, right? Because, like, what's the point? If you want to have a specific rifle, you should be able to get that specific rifle. So, you know, who cares, even? Next time there will be a meme revolution, we will take down the government with... Well, isn't every sort of change in government a meme revolution, where you took down the government with memes? I mean, democracy is the process of constant meme revolution. Because if the leading parties propagate other ideas and stand for other ideas, then that is basically different memes being had by the leading political party. So you took what? You took a bunch of memes, used memes to replace the memes that were in there, and now those are the memes that are in power. The only reason leftards, this is once again brilliantly idiotic term, go after the AR-15 by name is because it's a cultural icon of Americana. Now, plenty of rifles do the same thing, but the AR-15 is an icon. Their goal is to break our spirit. No, their goal is to get some form of gun control. Of course, trying to ban the AR-15 is completely reactionary nonsense. Because if you ban it, then it's gonna be other rifles. It's not the availability of AR-15s that's a problem. I mean, it is, in a way, the availability. I'm not going to check that shit, man. You can't link this to me right now, because I'm not going to watch videos on stream. But it's not going to be solved by banning any specific model of assault rifle. It's pointless. But, you know. That you first, I just want to add some stuff to drones. The thing is that you're trying to shoot down a relatively small thing with small arms. But it's not... What the fuck? What the fuck was that, chicken? Cody is here. The good man Cody is here.
Yeah, skip the post office.
Ah, yes, very good, very good. I was reading something in the chat. I just want to, the thing that you'll be trying to shoot down a relatively small thing with small arms, maybe a guided rocket. However, the problem is that you first need to spot the target in order to shoot it, and I think you might be able to do it is you have something that can detect a drone, maybe radar. Although I don't know if it can. Anyway, just wanted to ramble about that for. I mean, you can detect drones on a radar, obviously. Burger, do you support Catalonian independence? First, no. Let's actually talk to Cody first. Cody's here now. Hello, Cody. Welcome to the big old Patreon reward show that I do every month now. And you are a patron that has qualified for this.
Okay, so I'll first just tell everybody basically what I told you as far as shooting down predator drones. That's not the job of an armed militia. That's the job of split factions within the military. Because that's going to happen anytime the government tries to use its military power on the people. At least in this country. That's my belief.
So, and then once again, why do you need the militias if the military is going to split up anyway? Because I agree that if the thing, okay, let's get into this actually. So if the US military is going to get, is going to go tyrannical, whatever the fuck that means, of course there are going to be parts of like the service branches that are going to say no. This is no bueno. I don't want this. We're gonna fight on the side of the American people. They probably have the capability of shooting down Predator drones. And even if, right, even if you didn't have a Second Amendment and the populace was not armed, the military has access to so many high-tech weapons, right, that if some, even like minor factions would break away from it, they could just hand guns out to the civil militias that in a civil war situation would form anyway. Because we have a similar situation in the German constitution, that if the German government becomes anti-democratic, or becomes tyrannical, essentially, it says in the German constitution that the German people are allowed to take up arms and fight against the government. So why do you need to give everyone fire? I mean, once again, I'm not, I never made the argument that people shouldn't have firearms. I'm completely in favor of people having firearms if they want to have firearms. It's just that if you had a militia in that situation, then it'd be armed anyway.
The problem is you're still relying on a faction to support you. The point is that you're already armed. They don't have to support you. They can, in turn, upgrade your weaponry, but say they don't get any of that store in your area or whatever. They can't get you the weapons immediately or in a timely fashion. You're then already prepared, at least to a certain extent, to at the very least defend your homestead as best you can.
But nobody's going to try to attack your homestead. Like, the government doesn't give a shit about your homestead.
They do if they know you're armed and actively fighting against them. Of course they do.
But the thing is, right, if you have... But again, like you just said, you just said that you would require... Okay, you don't need the faction to support you because you have the guns. But we've established earlier that if you don't have the military faction that supports you, you do not have the capability to go up against anything that the US military could conceivably throw at you. So it doesn't matter in that situation if you have a gun. Because the military there is no one in the military that supports you, you're fucked anyway. You're gonna get shot down by... It's not just Predator drones. I mean, Predator drones is just like a simple... it's like the obvious thing that you can go to. But the amount of shit that the US military has access to... And it's not just the US military. It's the law enforcement apparatus. It's the the domestic intelligence apparatus. And the foreign intelligence apparatus that operates domestically. It's just... The thing that will stop a government from going rogue in America is going to be the same thing that stops all other governments from going rogue at all times. It's other parts of the government, like the military, or law enforcement, or intelligence, or the judicial branch. You don't need guns for that.
Yeah. Agree to disagree, I suppose.
I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, this is, and once again, I've said this a lot. That this is the great thing about that video, where I essentially the core argument of that video was the reason gun control doesn't work in America is because it's inconsistent, and that's the main point of the video. And then people, and then I have not seen a single comment that disagreed with that video, that the core argument of that video, that actually addressed that argument. That just said all of this gun legislation already exists in America. It's like, yeah, it does, and it doesn't work because it's inconsistent. That's something. I mean, this is something that I predicted about the video when there was basically the first shot of the video was me saying, people are not going to address the argument. Now, of course, the thing that we had an argument about this earlier, Cody, a couple of days ago. That was a different point. That was actually like a legit grievance that I just hadn't addressed properly in that video, but I will eventually. But the core argument of the video that the only reason gun control doesn't work in America is because it's inconsistent and it's not enforced in the way it should be. Nobody actually addressed it, which was...
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people didn't address it because, for the most part, it's correct. I mean, I agree with the premise of the video. I mean, that I didn't have any problems with the premise of the video. I completely agree that the state of gun control is that it is so varied. I mean, like, I could go to a gun show. Like, I could have gone to a gun show last weekend and come home with an AR-15, more or less. I'm not, you know, I'm not a past, or I don't have a criminal record. I pass background checks federally for the TWIC card that I have to get into plants. So it's a very high level background check where, you know, like it's the same background check that people use to get into the TWA. And, you know, if I had the money, I could pretty much make it happen just by going to a gun show. Now, I'm not against background checks. I'm not against mental health checks, which is kind of odd, you know, for the area that I live in, because that would disqualify quite a few people, I think. You know, I'm very for as conservative minded as I think myself to be, and very pro-gun in a general sense. I'm also pro-gun control in a certain sense, in what, like I said, what we would consider a reasonable sense.
Yeah, I think that even, like, if you try to put in, like, draconic gun control, it would... Like, I don't see the point of it. Because the vast majority of gun owners in the United States, they're just people who like guns. And that's like a... For whatever reason, they want the gun. And that's a completely reasonable reason to want it, right? There's a big gun culture in the United States. That I think is, I mean, we don't have that here. I don't understand it. I mean, I do understand it. I don't see myself enjoying it, but I don't give a shit if other people enjoy shit that I don't.
See, I do enjoy it. I mean, I don't personally own a gun. Everyone else in my family pretty much, at least in my immediate family, owns a gun. And sometimes we get together and go out into my dad's pasture and shoot guns. There's quite a few hunters. And when I was younger, I remember some of my, you know, greatest memories as a kid was on the deer lease. You know, I mean, going out and just kind of sitting there in the morning in the quiet. It's almost like a meditation session.
Mm-hmm.
I never actually shot anything. I could have, but I chose not to. But it was the bonding experience that you get with family in those situations. I guess it's not really gun centered, but it's pretty much gun centered. I mean, it's hunting. That's what you do with guns down here.
Or shooting at wooden birds that are fastened to a pole. I actually did that. I've done that a few times, and it's it's actually surprisingly boring because I remember this one time where we you know, they put up the bird, and they had like an extra bird for the kids that was supposed to come off easier. And the kids generally had some of the best marksmen in the whole, organization. Because like there's the structure of Schützenfest, as it's called, is you have like these big processions that every town has of these paramilitary organizations, which they're just actually people who like to drink beer. Though I think there is some law that says that if the German army stopped being functional, these people will have to defend our borders, which is hilarious to me. But yeah, we had this, and we shot at this fucking bird for 4 hours. Like the birds of the grown-ups were shooting at, it was taken down after like 10 minutes. 4 hours. We shot at this fucking bird before it finally came down. It was boring. It was just boring. But I can't imagine, like, I do, if at some point I do visit America, I do really want to go to a gun range and just check that out. You know, it's an experience that I want to have made. And I do think that especially gun ranges are a thing that people should go to if they want to shoot guns.
It really, I mean, be very mindful of what kind of gun range you want to go to. There are several kinds of gun ranges. Some of them are just very basic. Hey, you got your gun. You want to buy some ammo? We've got some ammo. Here's some paper targets. You know, very basic. Just, you know, hey, I'm going to go shoot some targets. And then there are some more advanced ones that are like some of the indoor ones where you can actually go and they have a large selection of guns that you can basically rent. And then you just buy the ammo, you rent the gun, or you rent several guns. And you go to your specific ranges where you have, you know, you have the rifle ranges, the handgun ranges, shotgun ranges, and such like that, where you can actually experience a wide variety of guns in a place where you can actually get instruction if you need instruction on how to handle and use the weapon. So you get the experience of the gun without having to buy the gun, and then you also get assistance if you need assistance in actually understanding how to use the gun. Your basic gun range won't have that.
Well, then probably I'm gonna have to go to one of those because I've shot guns a handful of times in my life, and it was only like a hunting rifle. It wasn't like a proper, like a handgun or something. Well, I mean, obviously you can hold that in your hands, but it was like one of those nice wooden hunting rifles, that you can just get.
If I'm not mistaken, there's actually a gun range in Houston that has a few automatic weapons as well as mounted guns that you can also fire.
That would be pretty dope. Fucking mounted guns.
So it's all about what you want to do and where you're going. Texas is a good place to go for guns.
Yeah, I would assume so. It's also a good place to go for a lot of things, like ribs and
yes,
barbecue in general. It is one of the items on my bucket list that I want to do, like a road trip through the United States where I visit every state. And one of the things, it would be like staggered over like several road trips or something, several vacations, or I do want to visit every state in the United States, is the point. And whenever Pardon?
Some of them aren't worth it, but go ahead.
I mean, I'm sure.
It's just my statey bias.
And I do want to, one of the main things that I want to do on that tour is check out all of the different kinds of Southern barbecue that there are. Because there is just a barbecue, like the general concept of Southern barbecue is, I really like it. Like the whole, I don't know, you go into the forest and you have this pit master that's on the smoker and on the grill, and they control that for like 10, 12, 16 hours. They're making some like delicious succulent meat. That's a very romantic thing to me. But also the fact that there's so many different varieties. I find when it comes to cuisine, America is often belittled by the world, but it has so much to offer just because it takes a lot of things from a lot of different cuisines and reinvents them in a way that wouldn't have otherwise been thought about. And that's something that I very much appreciate. And it's not just that they take that shit, it's just that they take it and then they make it American.
Yeah, like recently one of the big things, at least in the past year or year and a half, maybe a little bit longer. Maybe actually, I think it is longer than that. Is especially in the Southeast Texas area, is kind of the blend between Vietnamese and Creole. So you'll have a lot of there's a large population of Vietnamese people in Southeast Texas and Houston, in the area that I live in. And I love Vietnamese food. So I can only imagine what I haven't had the opportunity to try the fusion of Vietnamese and Creole food, but I imagine it has a lot to do with crawfish, which I also love. So, I mean, eventually I'll get the chance to go back to Houston for a visit to one of these fusion places that wasn't there the last time I was there. And I'll let you know.
I did like this weekend, no, last weekend actually. I did do an edible last weekend and then watch the whole first season of Ugly Delicious. And there was an episode on like crawfish and shit, and they told me that basically for Viet Cajun cuisine, it's not like the southern Louisiana area where you would expect that to be like the epicenter of that, where there's a lot of Vietnamese people and a lot of Cajun people. It's actually Texas is where you can get the best Viet Cajun food, according to Dave Chang. So,
yep, right there in Houston.
Which is that's weird to me, but like honestly, Texas is to me like is a fast. I mean, I know like I've looked into like all of the states in America a little bit, and all of them have something to offer that I find interesting. But Texas is like up there with like some of the most things, and I think that is mainly the cuisine. There's also a town like a small city in Texas where they speak German.
Yeah,
and that is
there's several German and Dutch inspired towns as well. Like a lot of my family lives in Fredericksburg, which is in the Central Texas area. And that's the big kind of German and Dutch influenced areas. The town that I just moved out of was a huge, like, Dutch colony when it was, I say huge, it was a small Dutch colony in the swamp before it became as big as it was. They even have, their representation of that is a Dutch windmill in the middle of the city, which is more like a heritage museum. And we have a big heritage festival twice a year. So I mean, yeah, there's a lot of German inspired towns and foods and beers and all kinds of stuff. And there's like big festivals and stuff for it in Central Texas mainly.
Like they actually speak German. I mean, it's like a pidgin German, right? But they speak English and they speak German to equal parts in their town. And there's a lot of them, like the older people do it primarily because the young people don't learn German anymore. This is the same situation as with a tribe in Papua, I think, where they taught them German during colonial days, and they still sort of speak this, and it's actually closer to original German than what they speak in this one town in Texas. That's fascinating to me, that the United States is very vast, and it has all of these had this very rapid cultural development because it's been living in mostly abundance for a long time, but it also has had a little bit of non-abundance, and it's the clash of all of these cultures that made this huge stew where some ingredients rose to the top and others sort of didn't. And so I think that America, though the culture is maybe not as viewed as old and sophisticated as it might be, it has, I think, created a lot of new culture out of old culture. Like, for instance, Italian American. You can have any nationality and then add American cuisine to it, and it's just a different thing from that cuisine, from Italian cuisine. It's Italian-American cuisine, right? And in America has all of them. Italian has different regional cuisines, right? But it's like all in the big meta cuisine of Italian. But America has the same thing, but with a lot more layers and a lot more diversity. And that's pretty interesting. But yeah.
Oh my God, somebody in the chat is talking about Chandler, Texas. I used to fucking live there.
I've never heard of it. But
it's a small town just outside of Tyler, Texas. It's in Northeast Texas.
I have actually heard of Tyler, Texas, is the thing.
East Texas, yeah. But yeah, I grew up in that area in my elementary school years, and then I went back there at the end of my high school years. It's a really nice, very, very beautiful countryside, like lots of hills, and there's Lake Palestine is out there. And it's really beautiful.
Is it written like Palestine? Or is it like, is it like Lake Palace? No, that's, but you pronounce it Palestine? Is that basically what that is? You would have to go in the studio chat if you want to see this. I don't know if you're in there.
Let's see. Oh, I'm not scrolled down all the way. Oof. Yes, that's it.
This is something I love about America, is that you just took all the town names from Europe and the rest of the world. You just, we're gonna use this one. And so there's like 20 fucking Berlins in the world, and one of them is in Germany, and the other 20 are in the United States.
Yep. But yeah, it's definitely a countryside that I would suggest at least riding through if you're gonna take a trip, is kind of maybe start in like the Northeast, kind of Dallas-Fort Worth area, work your way down south a little bit to the Tyler area, and then at that point kind of spread off southwest to Central Texas, and then you can work your way. After that, it really depends on what you want to see, because there's a lot of nothing from there to West Texas, and from there to North Texas.
See, a lot of nothing is something that is also difficult for me to fathom, because there is no such thing as a lot of nothing. Well, maybe in like northern Sweden, northern Finland, right? That's where you have a lot of nothing. But even there, it's full of like little lakes and full of wildlife and forests and...
Well, I meant nothing as far as like people you're going to run into, or like there's a gas station and, like every so often. There's nothing to do, not necessarily nothing to look at. Like it gets a lot more spread out is what I'm saying. And when it comes to Texans saying that there's a lot of nothing, it translates to about 5 hours of you not running into anything other than nature.
Like that's ridiculous. Like I can, if I take like a long, the German equivalent of a Greyhound bus, which is a Flixbus, for the most part, from where I live now to where I grew up, right? That journey, I think it takes me about 8 hours. And in that journey, I go through the second largest city in Germany. I cross a huge swathe of densely populated area that is actually very not densely populated in one of the wild areas of Germany. I go through several Hanseatic cities. I go through the city where that's the accent, that's the German accent. And I go through half of the Rhine-Ruhr megaplex, right? And just so many people live in the area that I drive through. And just the idea of I could drive that same distance in Texas and maybe go by the houses of a handful of people. That's like, what are you doing with all that space?
It's owned by people. You'd be surprised. a guy I used to work with, his family uh, owns close to a little over 1,000 acres in that kind of central Texas area as part of their family holdings, their ranch, as you could call it. Um, so there's a lot of like big landowners that's just basically family land. They bought it when it was, extremely literally dirt cheap at like 10 cents an acre way back in the day, and you just sell it off a little bit at a time as needed, if you need to at all. And then on top of that, uh, you've had the mineral rights, so you're not selling off that because you got the natural gas and the oil. So there's a lot of taxes to be paid on it, obviously, just to the sheer number of acres that you own. But that's basically what it amounts to. It's a lot of privately held land from really old ownership, and they don't have any motivation to sell it because there's really not a lot of call to buy it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, if there's a whole lot of nothing there, you know. But as population grows, there's probably going to be some more. Though, actually, probably if we should focus on cities. So,
Yeah, see, that's what's happening is you have Austin is exploding.
Yeah.
So you're having a huge jump in population there. The problem is the jobs just aren't there. Like it's very non-diverse as far as what's available in the job market around Austin. If it's not politics related, if it's not law related, if it's not education related, it's a very slim market for jobs. But the population is still booming, which is kind of killing some of the city. And then you got population centers like Houston, which are just massive. Just it doesn't matter because there's always going to be jobs. It's a huge industrial complex as well as a huge commercial mega center. And then, of course, you got Dallas Fort Worth, same situation there. You got, huge commercial and business enterprises that bring a ton of jobs. And then you get out to El Paso, and, that's a little bit too close to Mexico for some people. Not just Mexico, but violent Mexico. And then, of course, you got some of your northern panhandle cities that are barely ever spoke of, like Lubbock and such. But that's where the big population suck is going to come to is around the mega cities like Houston and Dallas and Fort Worth, which will not spread out fast enough to really populate those zones that are owned by those people.
Probably they shouldn't either. I'm very much a big advocate of the of megacities because they're very environmentally friendly. I mean, a person living in a city actually drastically reduces your footprint on the environment. And if
they can be, they can be. They don't necessarily have to be. And Houston's a big example of that. While they do have a very, I wouldn't say very well built. They have infrastructure for mass transit, but it is in no way optimized. And the same thing goes for Dallas and Fort Worth. Dallas is better in that area than Fort Worth is. I used to live in Fort Worth, and public transportation meant you had to get on a bus and good luck. So, I mean, everybody still owns cars. Everybody still drives everywhere. That's why you have massive, road clogs and massive road projects, which, road projects are good and bad. It adds concrete to the land, takes away green space, but then it creates jobs temporarily. So yes and no, at least in Texas.
I mean, I'll confirm that also for Buffalo too. Like, it's a great city, but we have somewhat poorly optimized transit systems. Like, we literally have a T-shirt you can get here that says our subway goes from Main Street to Main Street because it only goes on one street. That's it.
That's actually funny because Fort Worth does have a subway system that they've had. I say subway system very generously because it's actually no longer active. They used it. It was basically just long enough to connect their department stores back in the 20s and 40s.
I do hear that, like, generally American public transportation systems are not exactly the green peas, as nobody says, and I just invented. I live in a city in Germany where it's also, like, when it comes to German cities, our public transportation network is pretty shit. In Kiel, we don't even, like, we're like the capital of this state where I am, and I have to speak German in a moment because somebody asked me to, but I do have some videos in German, actually, so you can also go watch those. We used to have like a small subway. We used to have streetcars because, like, every fucking city in Germany has streetcars. And we even have because we have like a bay area. We even had like a lift that went over that. It's like in Germany the word for ski lift and the other thing that you is it a funicular though? I don't think it's a funicular. That went over the water, and they got rid of all that. And now we just have the buses, and the buses are fucking terrible because the buses, when it's like 1 in the morning, you can't go with the bus anywhere anymore. Just can't do it. The buses don't drive. I come from this is a town with like almost 300,000 inhabitants, right? I grew up in a city just like in smack dab in the middle of the megaplex, where it's like 50,000 maybe inhabitants, and you could take the bus at 3 in the morning, no matter in which of the somewhat desolate areas even you were in. You could walk to a bus stop, and in the course of the next half hour, a bus would come by and to pick you up. That's the fucking that's how shit public transportation is where I live. But probably by American standards, it's average, I assume.
Sounds about right. And you have to know which bus that you want to get on because they're very specific.
Yeah, you need like star charts and everything sometimes in the bigger cities. You will get lost if you take the wrong bus.
Oh, and they don't care. Once you're on the bus, until it gets to a stop, they're not stopping for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just to placate the Germans in the audience that have asked me to do this. Ja, ich rede Deutsch, ich komme aus Deutschland, ich spreche Deutsch, ich komme aus Köln ursprünglich, ich lebe momentan in Kiel und war keine gute Entscheidung, hierher zu kommen. Okay, now that we have had that out of the way, sorry about that. People just ask me to do weird things sometimes, like speak German. Why would you ever speak German if you can also speak English? So yeah,
it sounds cool.
Was that like the awakening code for the sleeper cell?
Yeah, dude. I just awakened all the sleeper cells in that one town in Texas where they all speak German. They're gonna put on the SS uniforms.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Since I just got back, did that vote come in yet from the EU?
Oh yeah, the copyright reform has been sent back to the drawing board. The parliament. It was actually not even a close decision. I think it was pretty decisive that they said no. We don't like this. Send this away, please.
That's good. I was jaded enough to think they would actually do it.
I mean, it's coming back in September, right? There's going to be a second vote. They're going to revise the whole thing, and they're going to try to push it through again. They're gonna have to pull its teeth though, and even then, probably it's not gonna pass. I mean, maybe it's just gonna be some innocuous shit that is not gonna do anything anyway. In which case, hopefully it won't pass. But even then, if it passes, and it doesn't get put away by the EU courts, it's gonna be there's not gonna be a problem with it. So
I have faith that the weaponized autism of the internet will find a way around it. It always has.
yeah, that's basically yeah. One would hope that would be the case. The EU seems to be a bit impervious to internet autism because, like, while politicians in America are very sort of, I think they care more about social media than politicians in many European countries. Where I mean, you have like unless you're talking about like Sweden or all of these countries with these super high-tech internet infrastructure, like more the southern countries and also Germany, because Germany is a shithole when it comes to internet access. Jesus Christ, they don't really give a shit. You have to actually call them. But you know, I'm hoping that might change in the future, and we could become a little bit more like America in that regard.
Who knows? Maybe.
So
I don't know. I think Twitter is probably the worst thing to happen to America politically.
Actually, person in the chat, we don't have Maultaschen in Kiel. We eat Fischbrötchen, which is vastly superior than fucking Maultaschen. Jesus Christ. How do you not? I mean, this is a completely different type of food. Just for anyone who doesn't know, Maultaschen are essentially they're like Cornish pasties, right? They're like meat and stuff and other things in like a bun, and Fischbrötchen is just, you know, it's a bread roll with fish on it. You can get a lot of different types of bread rolls with fish on them. You can some that I like very much is like smoked salmon, of course, because I absolutely love smoked salmon. I think smoked salmon is my favorite food, and also pollock chip. I also like pollock chip. Matthias oder Bismarck. Eat shit and die, bitch. Jesus Christ. Okay, Matthias is actually cool, but Bismarck, oof. Bismarck is my third choice, actually. I would actually eat Bismarck in some situations. But fucking hell, man. Northern Germany does suck, though. But yeah, this is like, there's a whole dimension to like German-Dutch cuisine up here that is really real and really, really cool and interesting. Do you have like, are there places in America where you can just get like a bread roll, like a bun, and they just put fish in it?
No, not here, at least.
Because,
not specifically. I mean, I wouldn't say no specifically necessarily, like, because po' boys are a thing. And
yeah, but those are Vietnamese.
No. The Cajun po' boys.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's the Viet Cajun po' boys and the regular po' boys. Yeah,
Yeah, and some of those will have seafood, not necessarily fish. Usually, like crawfish, crab, that sort of thing. Lobster. Sometimes, if you're really schmancy. But I don't see any reason why you couldn't put fish in a po' boy. But if you do, it's generally going to be fried, and that's completely different.
I mean, I do see what I know about, like, there's like on the East Coast, there's a lot of like a seafood culture in New Jersey. Whenever I go on sort of Joe Rogan and I watch the Joey Diaz episodes, he goes, "Listen, cocksucker, I had this fucking sandwich with lobster on it and blue crab. Oh, cocksucker, it was so good." You know, that kind of, Joey Diaz shit.
I just listened to the Joey Diaz episode from the 4th of July today. And
Oh, it was.
yes.
It is so good. They are so fucking high in that podcast.
Yes.
I've never seen Rogan this high before. Holy shit.
He even said during the ads, dude, I got way too high during this episode.
He said, well, there was like an awkward silence, and he said, this silence is brought to you by marijuana. But yeah, there's a couple things, a couple of misconceptions about German cuisine, that it's not good, because it is. One thing that I find that, this is something that Germans don't even think about, like, when I go to like a foreign country, unless it's like a even if it is like a southern country where they give a shit, what is with the rest of the world and their inability to make bread that is edible? What the fuck is going on? There's a guy like I think my girlfriend knows him. He moved to Iran, and he started a German bakery there. And it was because they had never had German bread before. Like, not even the Dutch. No other country seems to be able to make good bread. And that is just absurd to me, because it's really easy. Like, in Germany, you go into a bakery and you get fucking 20 types of bread. And you go into a supermarket and you get 50 different types of high-quality bread packaged. White bread, we have that. We don't eat it. We don't like it. There's but then again, there is a certain Nazism of Germans on the bread front, where they say that white bread is useless for all situations, which is not true. But yeah,
I can actually kind of agree the same with Buffalo, but with like chicken wings. Buffalo really invented the chicken wing as it is today in many pubs, and yet, as someone from Buffalo, I can say, everywhere else in the world doesn't know how to make chicken wings that are remotely good for some reason.
Actually, in Kiel we had the Kiel Week, which is the biggest sailing festival in the world. I know, surprisingly, it is also the second biggest folk festival in the world. And there's a section there called the International Market. And America also has a stand there, and I did eat some buffalo chicken wings there, but like probably they're just called buffalo chicken wings. And they're probably not as good as because I really like chicken wings, but I don't think I've ever actually eaten chicken wings as good as they can be. Which there's a lot of American food that I just really like pulled pork. The pulled pork, the one that they had there was really, really good. Like that.
I had pulled pork last night. It was fucking delicious.
I actually did as well.
But yeah,
yes, as far as chicken wings are concerned, people in Texas seem to love them, and they'll pay stupid top dollar for them. And then I go out there and I'm like, why are you wasting your money on this garbage? It's just not good. I mean, it can be good. I have had some homemade like chicken wings, and they can be good. It's just these restaurants that say that, that's what we do. It's like, no, you take these chicken wings and then you like cover the shit out of them in whatever crazy combination of seasonings you've decided to come up with cute names for, and then you shove them at people who are already too drunk to tell if it's good or not, and then they say they love it, and then they come back because you sell them alcohol as well. So I mean, that's my view on the chicken wings in Texas.
Actually,
I'm sure there's somewhere in Texas where you can get good chicken wings. I'm sure of it, because if it's one thing Texans like to do, it's cook. Other than shooting guns. You gotta shoot the guns and then you gotta cook what you shoot. So
there's someone just posted something in the chat that I wanted to mention also on the bread front. Laugengebäck. I don't know, I'm gonna look up if there's like an English translation for that. You don't seem to have it at all. Like at all. And I follow a lot of like really high-end shit, like they're essentially lie rolls, right? Like this stuff right here. You don't really seem to have this kind of shit in anywhere, really. Like they have this in in the German sphere of language speaking, but like the rest of the world doesn't really have it, and it's delicious. Like, this shit doesn't taste like bread. I can't even describe how it tastes. This is like one of those things that...
Is that salt?
You do often put salt on Laugengebäck,
Okay.
yeah. It's like, how do I even describe the taste? It's like I mean, it's like scientifically speaking, it is the opposite of acidic, which basic. It tastes basic. It's like you can taste acidity, and with these you can taste the opposite of acidity. It's so good, so fucking good.
Is it sort of like pretzels?
Oh yeah, pretzels are essentially made out of lye, yes. But you can make so much more with that.
See, my wife used to work at a pretzel place, and it got her into this huge kick of actually home making probably the best pretzels I've ever eaten.
So then probably you know what lye tastes like.
But yeah, it was fascinating because I was like, I've always loved pretzels, but when she started making them at home, I was like, holy shit, that's a step up.
Is that sort of like a Kimmelwick roll? It does look salted, which reminds me of the Kimmelwick roll.
I mean, they do often put salt on it, but it doesn't have to happen. They don't have to put salt on it. I mean, putting salt on it is like the pretzel thing. Though, to be honest, I'm not a big fan of pretzels, of salted pretzels at least. Though I am occasionally. I like there's and actually these are very rare in Germany itself. Sweet pretzels where you have sugar on it and it's not actually lye roll stuff. Alkaline, not basic. Yeah, exactly. Holy shit. Oh god, I'm getting hungry. I baked, like, I could smell the bread that I baked earlier today, and it's pretty good. So yeah.
Did you like the meme I sent you yesterday?
Oh, holy shit! Which one?
I think I only sent you one.
I can't. I might have just forgotten because I just forget everything, but I can't go there.
Yeah,
actually.
don't look at it right now.
Because yeah. People would learn about our secret plans of world domination.
It's a bit spicy, so yeah. I couldn't help myself though.
That looks mildly erotic, and it looks very good. But then it's Portuguese cuisine. Portuguese cuisine, except for when you eat. This is a story that my father told me. Because his ex-wife is Portuguese. This is why my half siblings are also Portuguese. He went to Portugal to visit her family. Right, they biked down there from Germany, and when they were down there on vacation, they were they were eating traditional Portuguese cuisine. And they had this big family meeting, and everybody was eating at the huge table, and everybody was happy. And my father didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, after the first 3 meals, there were just also once again 10 meals that came after that, because that's how the Portuguese do. But after the first 3 meals, he didn't know what was going to happen next. And so her mother comes in with this huge tray of just goat heads, and this is like. They took off the fur and the horns, and that's it. The eyes are still there, the tongue, the teeth, the flesh, the gums. And my father's first thought is, oh, how nice! The Portuguese also cook for their dogs. Then she puts down the tray on the table, and everybody goes, ah! And they fucking grab these things. Oh, Jesus Christ. And they ate goat heads, and they liked the eyes. But no, that's what you just posted there. That's not what this is white bread. This is like a special type of bread. That's essentially like pretzel bread. If you wanted to transform pretzel into bread, that's probably, yeah. I mean, usually tons of alcohol is, of course, that that's pretty
Some of the best meat on a cow comes from the cheek and the tongue.
Oh, that's true. But like, I feel like a little bit. I can see. I understand. You know, I have no problem when if my food looks like a tongue. I do have a problem when it's just a head.
Yeah, I can get that too.
I don't even know how would I eat that even.
You don't know where to start.
Do I?
Stab it with a fork and eat whatever comes off.
I mean, there's this thing in Spain, and I'm really looking forward to my vacation in Spain this year. This is not in the north. They were actually from the south, from Beja, and they have fucking melon milk. It's like milk flavored with melon. I don't think it's a traditional dish. It's like a thing that you can buy in the supermarket. And I have not been able to find this anywhere. And I have looked. Holy shit. You can only find this in the Spanish in any Spanish supermarket you can find this shit. It's milk that tastes like melon. Like sandia, watermelon, more like. Holy shit, is it delicious. I drank like 2 packets of that every day when I visited my grandmother last time. That shit was... Oh my god, that shit is fire!
That does not sound appetizing.
It doesn't sound appetizing at all. I bought it, you know, when we were in the supermarket, I saw like the weird milk drink section, because they have a lot of those. I thought, what is probably the most disgusting one of these? And I took the one with the watermelon, and then I drank it, and I went, holy shit, I never want to drink anything else ever again in my entire life. The most German thing is trucking to Poland. Actually, the most Polish thing is trucking a German car to Poland.
I've had a similar experience with the Wing Fest that we have here in Buffalo, and there was this one stand that had peanut butter and jelly chicken wings.
What?
Now that sounds bad, but it is one of the best ones I've had there that day.
I can imagine that being good, though. If you have... Yeah?
Go ahead.
Now, if you have really like wings with like a strong umami savory taste, and then the sweetness of the peanut butter and jelly, I can imagine that being really good.
It was.
So I have it's kind of a side note. You mentioned peanut butter. Something we do in our family a lot is like when we're cooking hamburgers, like while it's still on the grill, like your last flip, you just take like a spoonful of peanut butter and just kind of spread it across the top of the burger, let it melt in, then throw a piece of cheese over it. And recently I saw there's this hamburger show on First We Feast, and it was the host and Seth Rogen, and they were trying 3 secret menu items from like In-N-Out, Shake Shack, and Five Guys. And the Shake Shack one was a peanut butter hamburger, and it literally pissed me off because all it is just their hamburger, some thick cut bacon, and then this cup full of like peanut butter sauce. It's kind of a thin peanut butter sauce that you're just supposed to pour over it like a condiment. And that and of course they didn't like it because, you know, it's peanut butter is a very strong, overpowering flavor.
Yeah.
So I mean, of course, if you put a lot of something on something, it's just going to taste like that. So of course they didn't like it. And I'm like, that's not how you do it. You have to do it while it's still cooking so it can soak in, and it's just it's an additive to the flavor, not the flavor. You know, too much of a good thing is a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, you have to really have a balance between the different ingredients, and especially, I mean, but holy shit, I have to try that next time I get a burger. I mean, you know, I don't really cook at home because my kitchen is like tiny. I can barely turn around in my. I mean, I am a pretty big guy. Like I'm not big in terms of broad, but I'm very tall and I'm fairly broad-shouldered. But it's very difficult to do anything in my kitchen. And also, I generally, it's, I don't know, I find cooking to be too much work for something that I do every day. But now that I've sort of gone to like ready sort of complete meals, shit, I actually found myself wanting to cook like really good meals in my kitchen increasingly. But the problem is I don't have a dishwasher. So
It's always a pain in the butt.
I'm good. I can't even say it. That's what wives are for. Kind of had to say it.
Actually, my girlfriend's an excellent cook. She cooks for me very, very rarely. But whenever I get to eat some of her food, I actually think that we have been eating out more often than my girlfriend has cooked for the both of us. Which, I mean, we don't live together, so that's not too much of a... But yeah, whenever she does cook, holy shit, it's really good. It's really good.
I will say that I love my wife's cooking, but she has a tendency to use cayenne in everything. And I'm not a big spice person, but she is. So it's kind of a tender balance.
Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty... I mean, too much cayenne, that can be very overpowering.
Like we had a venison and pork sausage last night with home fries and fried cabbage, and she put cayenne on the potatoes, but we eat it all as one. So eventually it all gets mixed up. But the problem with that is the sausage itself already has a spice, and you cook the sausage first, and then you cook the rest of it in the sausage droppings or leavings or whatever. So it kind of, I was like, ooh, almost too much.
I mean, that's basically why you have a lot of the spices on the table, so that people can customize. Because I had this, there was this thing, the place where they do carnival floats in Germany, in Düsseldorf. I used to work there because my mother used to work there for a long, long time. And they would always cook these huge portions because obviously there's a lot of people there. And not only are those some of the best table conversations I had because they were absolutely disgusting, but they basically, unless it was the one guy cooking who always insisted that nobody was allowed to do anything with his food, yet it always tasted delicious to everyone, they usually didn't spice things properly, and they had this huge array of spices just on the table because like my mother is super into salt. Like, it's ridiculous. She just puts so much salt on her food. I don't know if she still does it. I haven't spoken to her in years, but, you know, at least that's what it used to be. And, like, her boyfriend was, you know, he didn't like fucking garlic. And most people in that room actually did like garlic very much. Garlic is the best, man. Holy shit. I love garlic.
Garlic is almost in everything we eat.
Yeah, I can't even... I mean, a world without garlic... I haven't actually eaten something that really has a strong garlic taste in a while. I love my wife's cooking, but she has a habit of spicing her meals with mashed peyote. And that's a shame because I'm not into hallucinogenic fever dreams for dessert. I mean...
You married her.
Yeah. Is she from South America? We've been talking about food for I think the monster part of this episode.
Yes.
Which is fine. Everybody loves food.
Did you guys catch the thing where I lost like 15 subscribers today?
No, I kind of came in on I guess the end of that or the middle of that, so I didn't quite understand what was going on.
Yeah, basically, just out of nowhere today, I got almost no... I mean, not no views, but like very, very few views. Which happens sometimes. Because it just happens, I don't know. But I lost like 15 subscribers. And I have never lost 15 subscribers in a single day in my entire YouTube career. That has never happened. And I don't know why that happened. I'm not exactly sure how and why that happened. I'm still trying to figure that out.
It could be YouTube's finally noticed you and is starting to shed your subscribers for you.
I mean, but like, do
You're
they
officially...
actually do that?
I think several YouTubers have like shown the second they upload, like the subscriber account drops.
That happens, but like this happened. I can tell where that happens. Is people don't know that they're subscribed to you. They haven't watched like a couple of your videos. A video of yours pops up on their feed. They go, "Oh, I don't like this channel anymore. I'm just gonna click on this video and unsubscribe." So that's normal. I didn't upload anything today, and even when I do upload a video, the amount of people that unsubscribe, like even now with the gun control video, right? It was like slightly above average, maybe, the amount of people that unsubscribed from that video, right? And it's still, it was not a lot. It was overall a day where it was in the negative instead of the positive, which also happens rarely. But it was not a lot. I didn't do shit today. And usually, even if I do videos that my audience essentially hates, 15 fucking people don't unsubscribe. So that's
maybe they all finally got around to finding a video they didn't like or something.
Yeah, but I got no views today. That's the thing. Got almost.
Maybe they.
I think you made a good point in that with the analytics, they're not like timely, so it's very possible you got views that they're just not showing.
No, I like the views are actually the one thing in the analytics that is timely. The thing that I can't see is how those people unsubscribed. Because this is like the theory that I have, is that today is just the day where YouTube purges a lot of accounts that are old or something that they consider inactive, whatever. And of course, that would lead to a massive subscriber loss across the board for a lot of channels. And only in 2 days will I be able to see how these people unsubscribed. Right now, I only know that these people unsubscribed, but actually the data that shows me what happened there, and if they were closed accounts, or if they went on the video page, or if they went on the channel page, that still hasn't sort of happened.
Something else that I've noticed recently is that I will get email alerts for certain channels that I don't have the bell subscription thing for. So like maybe, I'm not saying that's an issue, a big issue, could be an issue, because, you know, emails are kind of sacred to a lot of people. Like I don't want a ton of emails from, you know, random Twitter trash in my email. So I have to unsubscribe from a bunch of shit.
I don't think I've ever gotten like I whenever a channel uploads a video that I've subscribed to, most of the time they send me an email. Actually, yeah, that's true.
It's supposed to be just the ones that you have the bell notifications turned on.
But like,
no, actually,
yeah,
I can explain that part. The bell thing is only to say you want every notification for it. Now, if you're subscribed, you will get occasional ones, but aren't set to a priority. So if it's a low traffic day for your normal notifications stuff, and that channel uploads, you're likely going to get a notification on that day.
That explains it, or that makes sense, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I have no idea what happened today, so I'm just a bit befuddled by this. I'm not exactly sure what to think about it. I mean, of course, there is the voice in the back of my head saying this is the system that they used on Leafy, and this is how they killed Leafy, and now they're using it on you. Because, like, honestly, my channel's at the perfect point to do that. If I were to disappear tomorrow, very few people would notice, right? If Sargon were to disappear tomorrow, there would be riots in the internet streets. If I were to disappear tomorrow, so a couple people would say, "Oh, this is outrageous. Oh, I want to go eat some pizza." That's what would happen, probably.
There might even be some, you know, literal riots in literal streets.
That might actually happen. Yeah. Oh, it's my dude Invitus. I know you have that channel, dude. I remember that you have that channel as well. What's your stance on the Kosovo crisis? I have no stance on the Kosovo crisis right now.
Is there still a Kosovo crisis? I don't know.
I think there used to be a Kosovo crisis, but
My stance would be blame the Clintons.
Probably. I mean, isn't that really, though, what is the case always? It's always blame the Clintons.
Kinda, yeah.
And it doesn't hurt that you can blame them for a lot of stuff.
Where did Shrek go?
Shrek got deleted. I don't know.
Why
I was
did you
wondering the
delete
same
Shrek?
thing.
Bring back
I did
Shrek.
not.
Justice for Shrek.
Hashtag justice for Shrek.
The new Burger Krieg food channel logo.
We want Shrek. We want Shrek. We want Shrek.
Yeah.
There we go. He's
Why'd
back.
you delete him, motherfucker? Jesus Christ. Yeah. Yeah. What were we talking about before fucking Shrek took a walk?
The Clintons or
Yeah, the
Kosovo?
Clintons.
I
The
don't
Clintons
know.
probably took down Shrek. That's the thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's probably what happened. Because
I wouldn't be surprised.
they does this Shrek have red eyes? Am I seeing this correctly?
He does.
Doesn't Shrek normally have like brown eyes? Is this?
They could be like an auburn brown.
They're probably just the light net.
Yeah.
Well, a chicken
Shrek.
bouillon cube for Clinton confirmed, isn't it?
Yep.
What's the chat like? What's the chat saying? How are you German and have a British accent? Because I at one point chose to have a British accent after watching a lot of Ricky Gervais comedy specials, and then it sort of just became the accent that I speak in when I speak English. I've never had a German accent ever. Before that, I had an American accent because, funnily enough, the person who taught me English more than my English teacher was Ray William Johnson.
Interesting.
I don't know if anyone remembers Ray William Johnson.
Oh, that guy.
Yes, Ray William Johnson, the old. That was basically the first guy who did an internet show that was actually successful. So I don't know. No matter how not funny it was at the end of the day, in retrospect, I used to enjoy it tremendously. So.
There's a lot of channels like that in the back corners of the internet now.
Yeah. What about Catalonia? Well, I am. Here's the thing. I'm very biased on this issue because I actually speak Catalonian or Catalan. I don't know how you say that in English. And I grew up on the island of Mallorca, where they speak that language, like a dialect of it. And so I have a lot of solidarity with Catalonia. And I also really like Catalonia. I am regularly considered seriously moving there because it's just such a great place for everything. Like culturally, economically, accessly. So I am kind of in favor of Catalonian independence, but also it's gonna upset the situation in such a way that it might have. I'd like Catalonia to be independent, but just without all the problems that would come with it. That's what I want. But I don't really have a strong opinion on this whole thing. It's just a completely emotional judgment on my part.
I feel the same way about Texas.
But you are from Texas, though, right?
Yeah.
Chad, do you want Bionicle memes?
Oh, God.
I love how
Who
my channel
doesn't?
has become the Bionicle memes channel somehow.
Remember the discussion we had about the peanut butter on the hamburger? That's how I feel about Bionicle right now. There's just too much.
Too much Bionicle. No, Catalan is not Spanish with the last syllable cut out. It is a different language with a different grammar. It's a different language. Is about as different from Spanish as Portuguese or French. Oh boy. Yeah. So let's not post Bionicle memes then. Yeah.
It's okay. I'm a mod. I can delete them.
You can do that, actually. You can just go, oof, oof, oof. The battle has begun. Like, he is also a mod, so he can he delete your deletions? Can you have to post negative Bionicle memes. Inverse, but what is the opposite of Bionicle?
Bakugan?
I've never heard of that.
It's like some marbles thing.
Really,
But
I have
anime.
no idea.
I'm gonna Google Bakugan now. I want to find that.
Bakugan.
Bakugan. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Bakugan. I didn't want to open hentai.
Or did you?
Oh, holy! This is. I don't want to say nothing, but this is kind of cool. Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, I was about to post that exact picture. Like, honestly, that's kind of cool. I was always like a fan of this like Japanese sort of the pocket monsters approach to things. Be that, see, I never really liked Pokemon, but I did like Beyblade, and I did like Yu-Gi-Oh, and and all that kind of shit, because it's. I don't even know. This is with fucking marbles. That's pretty cool.
Somebody deleted it.
This is war. Implying Portuguese is a different language from Spanish. Oof. Oof. Not being a virgin is the opposite of Bionicle. Oof.
Isn't Portuguese different from Spanish? Like,
it is
distinctly?
It is a different language, yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Actually, like in Spain, they speak 5 different languages. Or 4, I think. I mean, they speak Castellano, which is Spanish. They speak Catalan, which is Catalonian. They speak Gallego, which is also a different language that they speak in the west of Spain. And then the central north to northeast of Spain, they speak Euskera, which is Basque. And that's just a completely different language that has nothing to do with any other language in the entire world. It's a completely isolated and unique language, which is absolutely fascinating to me, because it is just in the middle of this huge cultural region. Whoever said that Bionicle fans are virgins, you're partly correct, not speaking for myself, though. So that's insane. It's just a completely different language, like Finnish basically, but like Finnish at least is sort of related to Hungarian and shit, and Estonian. Oh, what's with the fucking Bionicle memes now? If you're an ancient priest residing in a young child... What the fuck? Still sounds like a Castilian speaker with his tongue cut out, but still. Oof. Is it kind of like the difference between Afrikaans and Dutch? I don't know. I'm not familiar with the difference between Afrikaans and Dutch, to be honest. But I think Afrikaans and Dutch are more alike than these languages. But I don't know. It's like, it's not quite the difference between English and German, but like English and Dutch. That's closer to it, I think.
They mix a lot of English and Dutch.
No, that's just Dutch. Like, English, like Dutch, is a Germanic language. It's just that it comes from the same tree.
Ah.
So it's just.
What I think is funny is the way the Japanese people use English, like in Japanese conversation.
Yeah, there's a lot of they have a lot of English words and also a lot of German words. This is absolutely like anything that a lot of things that even were in Japan before they just took English and German terms for that. It's pretty nice. But yeah, you have like the that's actually pretty accurate.
Yep.
You have the word shark. Many people don't know this. The word shark is actually an Aztec word. It's the Aztec word for shark is shock. So that's...
Fuck, now I can never use it again.
Oh my god, there's so many things you have to know to get that joke. Jesus Christ.
The point is, everyone should be watching the Shadowrun campaign.
Yes, everyone should be watching the Shadowrun campaign. It's really good. And I'm actually really looking forward to your new character.
I've been tweaking it.
Yeah. I actually still need to do the next session, because the last session was VIP extraction. The next session is going to be called VIP recovery.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
I mean, you already saw this in like the Shadowrun chat on the mission board. It's called VIP recovery. So I don't know if you can put two and two together. Probably.
I wonder who we're going to be recovering.
What's going to happen there? Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to get some Pizzabrötchen later. Some pizza. Do you get, like, this is something that I can imagine America has invented, guaranteed, right? It's like, it's not small pizzas. It's like pizza dough in, like, small sort of snails. And they put, like, cheese and other pizza ingredients in it. Sometimes tomato sauce. I wonder if they would put tomato sauce, because they can't put tomatoes in there in the place where I get them. I'm not sure if they would put tomato sauce. I don't think that would work very well. Do you have something like that?
That's kind of a rolled bread with layers in it. Is that what you're talking about?
Let me actually find a picture of this. Pizzabrötchen. That's actually not this. Basically this. Just give me the fucking image. Come on. It's this, basically. Where it's like a... it's like... this is pizza dough. And they do it
that's
with
what I was talking about.
Ingredients that are similar to pizza. What did you say, though?
Like, I don't think they use...
I'll be right back. I need to take care of my doggos.
Okay.
Like, I've seen something similar to this, but it's not something mainstream. It's more something that's kind of a niche thing that you see on cooking channels for American people who like to cook.
What are you doing to the English Pepe meme? Jesus Christ. This is a guy from the Discord server who posted a picture of himself, and we sort of made it into an emoji. What the fuck is this? Calzone stromboli. I've never had stromboli. What I really want to eat, I really want to make at some point, is a calzone, but it's got pasta in it. That is something.
I can see that. That kind of, I don't know. That seems like it'd be a bit too much. Then again, I'm thinking of the calzones we have here, which can literally be the size of 2 plates.
Yeah, with the place where I get calzones here, it's a Turkish place. They're fucking huge. I can't eat those anymore. Holy shit.
Yeah, you can feed off of them for like 4 or 5 days.
The thing is, I always consume the whole meal of almost everything that I eat, so...
Yeah.
This is why I tend to go with small portions. Yeah. Holy shit!
This is getting too much.
This is actually becoming an English Pepe stream. Is he even watching? Is he even in the audience? Will he find out about this tomorrow and go, "Oh no, my face is now famous on the internet"? How do you make? Do you have like a folder of these, or do you make these on the fly?
They've got to have a folder.
It's probably a folder. See, I love this, right? This is something that I made this happen, basically, right? This meme happened because of the existence of my Discord server. That's something that makes me very happy. That something that I did, it's through other iterations, sort of brings joy to other people, even if at that point it has nothing to do with me. How does everyone have a folder of these? Jesus Christ.
They have too much time.
Oh God. Yeah,
I'm not saying I do have a meme folder. It's just they're typical. I'm not gonna put them on live stream.
But do you have a folder of the English Pepe memes?
No, I don't participate in the English Pepe meme.
That's exactly. I love how if you look at the face, it's so poorly cropped because this is just where the image ends and the cropping is just so fucking bad and this head is just cut off in a straight line on the right. It's oh God.
It's definitely one of those it's so bad it's good things.
Yeah. But it's just above that threshold. It's almost just bad.
Yeah.
Oh God. I need General Pinochet. What the fuck? Humanity never ceases to. Burger, I made this. Oh, I'm very looking forward to whatever this is that you made.
Uh-oh.
Nothing's happening in the chat. Nothing's happening. There's nothing happening. I'm not going to go into another chat room, though. Because that is too risky at this point. I mean, there's a reason I'm doing this not in the voice chat, but in like the special place where only patrons and mods have access to.
Like, tell me what folder you put it, or what channel you put it in.
Yeah, do that. Actually, and also do it quick. We have like 4 minutes left on the clock. Because I really want to get some food. And I could eat the bread that I made, but I actually kind of want to have it rest for a while. Oh. What the fuck? You just made this
Asian
one.
Jesus. I once had I stopped at this donut shop outside of Austin that's famous for their oversized donuts, and the person who served me my oversized donut, his name was Jesus, and I thought, to be funny, I would post that on Facebook and share that with my very conservative Jesus loving family, that I was served by Jesus. And my stepmother said, "No, you weren't." I was like, okay, this was a joke, but okay.
But you literally were, though, factually speaking.
Yeah, she did not take kindly to that.
What do you mean I'm PewDiePieing content? I don't understand what he's saying.
You're stealing content. Basically, what PewDiePie does now is just like meme review.
I mean, it does content. I don't know. I don't think that's sort of bad.
It's not. I think it's funny as fuck.
Yeah. Flammkuchen. Flammkuchen is pretty good. Do you know what Flammkuchen is? I'll post Flammkuchen pictures real quick.
Do I know what it is? No.
I think it's actually, they say it's a French thing. It's more of a French, it's exactly in the area where the French and the German disagree whether or not it's France or Germany. That's where that is from Alsace-Lorraine. Though you eat it in France and Germany a lot, primarily in southern Germany. This shit, it's like a pizza, but it's actually like really, really thin. It's like as thin as like a couple sheets of paper, and it's really crisp. And there's no like this is the classic Flammkuchen where you have creme fraiche, a little bit of I don't know what the English word is for that one, fried onions and Speck, which is basically bacon, but it's not quite bacon.
That looks delicious.
Ham. It's really good. And
see, when I get pizzas, I get them thin crust with almost no sauce. So that's right down my alley.
Yeah, I mean this is explicitly not a pizza. I think they even make the dough differently than they do pizza dough. But yeah, someone explain how Discord works. You just go on the Discord and then you're on the Discord.
Download it or go to the website.
Yeah. Also, Flammkuchen literally translated from German means flame cake, which is that's a pretty badass shit. So yeah, we've actually hit the 2-hour mark. If you guys want to talk about something more, we could of course talk about something more, but otherwise I would end the stream and I would actually go out and maybe get some fucking food. Thank you, chat, very much for hanging out with us tonight. It's unfortunate that only one of the patrons came by, but such is life. Yeah.
Buffalo, not a patron?
No, I'm not a patron.
Oh my god, what the fuck are you doing in here?
Why are you here?
Because I'm a mod.
Okay. Yeah, let's actually. I mean, you are a they piper. Let's talk about this later. This is actually just supposed to be. I actually banned one of the. I actually told one of the mods not to come in here earlier. So this is a bit awkward. But then you and Xander are the head mods, I would say. So I don't know. But yeah, this is. I didn't even notice that was. But we did enjoy your company. So. I don't know, maybe this wasn't such a bad mistake that we all made collectively here. So thank you very much everyone for watching this Fast Food Thursday. Next Fast Food Thursday will be at the first Thursday of next month. Very happy to have all you in my audience. Very happy to have all of you as patrons. Very happy to just be able to do this in general. In that spirit, see you around, cunts. Yes, I do want to end the stream.